The transport would arrive in 3 hours. Tara had exactly that long to pack her gear, report to the command deck, and leave the Valkyrie station for 6 months of advanced combat training on Kepler 442b. 6 months of grueling drills, zero-gravity warfare simulations, and enough protein rations to make her nostalgic for the recycled algae paste they served in the station's mess hall. She should have been focused. Instead, she was trying to extract a curious four-armed alien cub from her duffel bag for the 3rd time. Rin, no. Tara lifted the small Kiksari by his midsection, careful not to squeeze. His species was fragile compared to humans, their bones lighter, their bodies adapted for the low gravity of their homeworld. You can't come with me. Rin's large amber eyes blinked up at her, each vertical pupil dilating with what Tara had learned to recognize as pure, calculated mischief. His fur, soft and striped in shades of silver and blue, rippled as he chirped, a sound that translated roughly to, "But why not?" "Because," Tara said, setting him down on her bunk, "they don't allow cubs at military training facilities. You'll be safe here with your family." The moment she turned back to her bag, she heard the soft patter of 6 clawed feet. She didn't even need to look. Rin. A muffled chirp came from inside the duffel. Tara pinched the bridge of her nose. 3 months ago, when she'd been assigned to the xenobiology wing as part of her cultural liaison rotation, she'd thought it would be simple. Observe the Kiksari refugees, help them acclimate to station life, file reports. Easy. No one had warned her about Rin. The cub had latched onto her during her first week. The Kiksari adults had explained through translators that Rin had lost his parents during their escape from the Dominion War. He'd imprinted on Tara the way his species imprinted on pack leaders. It wasn't romantic or familial in the human sense, it was pure survival instinct. To Rin, Tara was safety. She was home. And now home was apparently a military-issued duffel bag. She reached in and pulled him out again. This time, Rin wrapped all 4 arms around her wrist, clinging with surprising strength. His translator collar, a slim device around his neck, buzzed to life. Tara pack leader goes, Rin goes. It doesn't work like that, buddy. She gently pried his small fingers loose. I'll be back in 6 months. That's not even a full cycle for your species. 6 months is 187 station days. That is 4488 station hours. That is, I know how long it is. Tara sat on the edge of her bunk and Rin immediately scrambled into her lap. She sighed. You're smart, Rin. You know I have to do this. It's my job. Humans serve. We protect. Rin tilted his head, his feathery antennae twitching. Kiksari serve pack. Rin serves Tara. Her chest tightened. The translators did their best, but sometimes the meaning went deeper than words. The Kiksari didn't have a concept of military duty the way humans did. They had packs, clans, and an unshakable loyalty to those they bonded with. For Rin, the idea of Tara leaving without him wasn't just sad. It was incomprehensible. Listen, Tara said, stroking the soft fur on his head. Do you remember the story I told you? About the old human soldiers who went to war? Rin's ears perked up. He loved her stories. They had something called a mascot, Tara continued. An animal that stayed with them brought them luck. But the mascot didn't go into battle. It stayed somewhere safe, waiting for the soldiers to come home. Because if something happened to the mascot, the soldiers would be too sad to fight. Do you understand? Rin considered this, his large eyes narrowing thoughtfully. Then he chirped, and the translator rendered his response with devastating precision. Tara is Rin's mascot. If Tara does not return, Rin will be too sad to exist. Damn it. Tara closed her eyes. The Kiksari didn't do emotional manipulation. They didn't even have sarcasm. Everything Rin said was literal, honest, and straight from his alien heart. She'd seen death before. Hell, she'd caused it. She'd stood on the bridge of a destroyer and watched railgun fire tear through Dominion cruisers. She'd pulled wounded soldiers out of burning wreckage. She'd signed up for the coalition military because someone had to stand between the innocent and the endless dark of space. But this? A small orphaned cub clinging to her because she was the only stable thing in his shattered world? This was harder than any battlefield. Okay, Tara said quietly. Okay, here's what we'll do. She reached into her locker and pulled out her old patrol jacket, the one she'd worn during her first deployment. It still smelled like recycled air and adrenaline, and it had a scorch mark on the sleeve from a plasma weapon that had come too close. This is yours now, she said, draping it over Rin's small frame. It swallowed him like a tent, You keep this while I'm gone. It's got my scent, my sweat, all of me in it. When you miss me, you wrap yourself in this. And when I come back, you give it back to me. Deal? Rin burrowed into the jacket, his forearms pulling it tight around himself. His antennae drooped, but he chirped softly. An affirmative. And, Tara added, pulling out her personal data pad, I'm setting up a direct comm line. Every week we talk. Face to face. I'll tell you about training and you tell me about station life. You won't be alone, Rin. I promise. The cub looked up at her, his eyes shimmering with something that might have been tears, though the Kiksari didn't cry the way humans did. He pressed his small forehead against her palm. Tara Pack Leader will return? I will return, Tara said, and she meant it with every fiber of her being. She'd survived worse than training. She'd survived war. She'd survived this too because now she had something more than duty pulling her home. She had Rin. When the transport docked 3 hours later, Tara walked up the ramp with her duffel slung over her shoulder. She didn't look back, not because she didn't care, but because if she saw Rin one more time wrapped in her jacket and watching her leave, she might not get on the ship at all. Humans were strong. Humans were resilient. Humans could endure 6 months of hell and come out the other side sharper, faster, better. But humans, Tara thought as the airlock sealed behind her, were also pack animals, and she'd just left hers behind. The thought carried her through the long journey ahead, not as a burden, but as a promise she would return. And when she did, there would be a cub waiting, ready to crawl right back into her duffel bag where he belonged.